Today is August 29, 2022. My name is Rob Carr of Kalamazoo Right to Life, and this is Pro-Life Week. Well, if my calculations are correct, in 2 days, the Michigan Board of Canvassers will decide whether or not to accept our pro-life challenge to the wording of a petition form that was not approved, but signed by 750,000 Michigan citizens. This is this Reproductive Freedom for All petition drive that would, if it's put on the ballot in November, it would amend the Michigan Constitution permitting abortion through viability, and it would nullify every pro-life law enacted in our state in the last 40 years. Well, we discovered, our pro-lifers discovered, that the petition form had at least 60 grammatical errors. Most of them were run-on sentences where you've got a string of 6 or 7 words without spacing. And here's an example I printed up for you. The top line shows a series of words all run together that is on this official petition form. And the bottom line shows the exact same letters carved into real words because we have the proper spacing between them. And the question is, did the average voter have a full understanding of the petition because of all these run-on sentences? And about 2 weeks ago, we filed an official complaint to disqualify the petition form because of all these grammatical errors. Back in, maybe it was in March of 2022, just a few weeks after the pro-abortion people launched their petition drive, that we discovered and brought it to the attention of the State Board of Canvassers. But it was brought to their attention that the printed form, had an extra word, the word "the," on the form. And the State Board of Canvassers rejected the form and threw it out. So because of that extra word, and all the signatures that had been collected in that 3-week time were ruled invalid because the petition form was invalid. So they had to start all over again with a new form, new printing, all that. They lost several weeks in the process. So the issue is the precise language that would go into the Michigan Constitution, because the way I understand it, the wording on the back of the petition form is the wording that would go into the Michigan Constitution. So do we really want to have all these run-on sentences going into the Michigan Constitution? Well, sure, one might argue, well, they can just correct all these grammatical errors before it's reprinted in the Constitution. Well, that's not really how it should work, because if you look at Congress in Washington or in Lansing or any other state, when a committee or a subcommittee is writing a bill, they have to go through a lot of hoops to make changes. If you just can't add a comma or add a sentence or even add a word without the full subcommittee approving of that change. Even a little thing like a comma has to be approved by a subcommittee before it moves on to a final vote in a House committee or a Senate committee, before it goes on to the full House or the full Senate. And even there, if a bill has been introduced in the full Senate and a senator wants to make an amendment, make a change, he just can't do it on his own. There has to be a vote. Even if the change is a comma, there has to be if there's going to be a change to the official wording of a bill, it has to be approved by a majority vote. So you could argue that a petition drive does not carry the same legal weight as a bill in Congress. That may be true, but on the other hand, you have signatures that have to be validated by the Board of Canvassers, and those signatures have to be valid registered voters in the state of Michigan. So in that sense, a petition form is a legal document that should carry some weight with the Board of Canvassers. And if they're going to reject the word "the" back in March, they should reject a run-on sentence that I just described to you in that printout. They should do that. And we will know in 2 days whether or not the Board of Canvassers will agree with us or reject our appeal and place this horrible petition on the ballot. So my next and last item has to do with the Senate election in the state of Ohio. The Republican candidate is a man named J.D. Vance, and the Democratic candidate is a current member of Congress, a man named Tim Ryan, who represents the Youngstown, Warren, Ohio area. And Ryan has been in Congress since 2003, having been elected in 2002. Up until 2007, 2009, he was a fairly reliable pro-life Democrat. I know that's hard to believe, but 10, 11 years ago, we had more pro-life Democrats in Congress. Now they're all gone, but back then we did have a few. Well, actually, I think there's one left right now. There's one left from a man from Texas. But for the most part, they're all gone. But somewhere around 2007, Ryan began to waffle on the issue of abortion. You know, unfortunately, we've seen that very often among Democrats, pro-life Democrats. Many of them, unfortunately, are Catholics who may aspire to a higher office. And you know, a lot of these people read the tea leaves, and the orthodoxy in the Democratic Party is you are pro-choice, and if you are pro-life, we're going to primary you and get rid of you because we do not want to have any pro-life Democrats in the House of the Senate. And if Ryan wants to be reelected, he needed to kowtow to the feminists, to the base of the Democratic Party that is overwhelmingly pro-choice. So he compromised his Catholic faith, he compromised his core pro-life convictions, and he switched to the other side. Well, a few days ago, and he's been a consistent pro-abortion vote ever since 2009. Well, a few days ago, he was being interviewed on one of the network news programs, and the interviewer asked him, at what point in a woman's pregnancy did he think that abortion should be prohibited? And, you know, he came up and he said that no one supports abortion in the 8th or 9th month of pregnancy. No one supports that. But then when she pressed him again with the same question, he did kind of waffle again, and he did say, you know, the same pro-abortion trope that we've heard for years, that ultimately the decision to terminate a pregnancy is a decision between a woman and her attending physician. And that kind of issue goes all the way up through the late term, 8th or 9th month stages of pregnancy. And, you know, he makes this argument about, well, the woman may has decorated the nursery, the crib is all set, and the baby blankets are ready, and maybe even some infant baby clothes have been purchased. But then something tragic happens, and a medical issue arises, and the woman is faced with a tragic decision to make, whether to terminate her baby or to go through this horrible situation where she might die. Well, realistically, the number of times that a woman faces those kinds of tragic medical situations are infinitesimal compared to the number of times that women go through medical complications and they go on to deliver a healthy baby and they go on with their lives. And it's a straw man argument that the pro-abortion people say over and over again, and they believe that if they say it enough, they will mislead or convince perhaps some gullible American voters to vote for them, thinking that somehow, well, we're not taking these things into consideration. It just does not happen. A woman does not have to abort at the 8th or 9th month of pregnancy with a medical complication. Those things do not happen. They just do not happen. You know, I think back to the term that I saw on bumper stickers for years. Abortion kills, or abortion stops a beating heart. And to me, that's the bottom line. There's a beating heart in that woman's womb. There's a developing baby growing inside of her. And give that woman and that baby time. That baby will deliver a normal, healthy baby. And we should not be stopping the birth of babies in the womb for selfish reasons. With that, I'm going to let you go. Remember, for anybody listening who's in Ohio, do not vote for Tim Ryan. He is a pro-abortion zealot who defends abortions through all 9 months of pregnancies, no matter what he says. And the Democrats know that abortion kills a beating heart. They know it. Whether it's Joe Biden or Nancy Pelosi, they know it. They have chosen to ignore the truth, ignore the science. That baby is alive and is a human being. With that, I'll let you go. Remember, 2 more days until we hear whether or not the Michigan State Board of Canvassers will accept our appeal and disqualify that petition, and thereby disqualify the referendum, or will they accept run-on sentences and allow that referendum to proceed. With that, I'll let you go, and we'll see you next time.